Hey guys, welcome back to the dialed in call-in session for the day. This is the low equity edition. Today we are joined by two incredible people, George and Julio. Julio is back for a second time. He is back for some more punishment. George is here for the first time, although he is a very experienced caller. So I'm excited to hear how everything goes. As always, we get our data from rocketbotleads.ai. The advantage is that we get the data faster with Rocketbot Leads as opposed to waiting for data aggregators to aggregate it and fill it all in. So having said that, diving right in, George, since you're the first person who hopped in today and this is your first time here, tell us a little bit about yourself. And also I'm curious how people can work with you if they want to work with you.
Got it, Mike. Well, thank you for the introduction. George Paredes here out of Houston, Texas. Been in sub 2 for about 2 years, full-time real estate investing for about 3, and just learning and growing, and obviously realizing the bad things that happen. I guess to me and most people in our industry, it's not looking at it totally bad, but kind of seeing the good things in it and getting the good out of it. But yeah, been the last two years I've been involved in about 22 real estate transactions, primarily wholesaling, mostly cash, a little bit of creative, and it just so happened to be a lot of them have been a little to no equity, and so where my obstacle is actually underwriting it, because it is understanding that if this balance is this much and the property can sell basically at the same amount, how does that work for the end buyer, and how does everybody get paid, and then learning that does basically boil down to the cash flow, and depending on the exit strategy, which is something where it's kind of my weakness, but being in a community like sub 2, being able to know that I don't have to know it all, and obviously learning and just taking the action and bringing the opportunity to somebody who may know a little bit more, and they're willing to share the wealth on the back end. And so, yeah, primarily off-market deals, working with a lot of newer students here in Houston. They'll reach out to me, and then we'll kind of work together. And just learning that, hey, I want to help you, but, I do need to get paid too, in a sense. But learning how to say that with confidence, because I do have those, those 22 transactions. And on top of that, the ones that I probably failed that I learned from to where I'm at now. But being able to work with somebody that's willing to share the wealth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we learn more from the deals that don't go perfectly, right? That aren't the stereotypical wholesale deals or creative deals. I think we learn much more from those, and we can bring that experience into future deals. George, you bring an incredible energy here, and I love your domain name. Would you feel comfortable giving your email address out so people can, first of all, experience the cool domain name that you have, but then also reach out to you if they want to work with you?
Gotcha. I was thinking of that when I saw yours. I'm like, oh, at least I could have put my IG. So I was just being silly with the sub 2 dude. But yeah, my email address is George P as in Paul, at optimistically, OPTMISTGLEE.net. And my little catchphrase that I learned from a previous mentorship is to learn how to sell yourself. So my line would be George P at optimistically, real estate solutions with a touch of glee. And so I guess that matches me, the energy that I try to bring, and try not to let the negative part of this business, don't dwell on that too much, and try to look at the positive out of every situation.
I love that. We need that in our lives, right? We need some optimism, some positivity. Thanks so much for bringing that today.
No problem.
Sometimes I don't. I appreciate you bringing that today. So, Julio, you're back for more. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, first of all, thanks again for having me, Mike. It's a blessing to be here. So I am a realtor. I'm also been in sub 2 for a year. I'm a gator, and I'm also a super investor. So I'm here, to learn again, for me, Mike, and just learning from the calls, and just connecting from, just understanding like George was saying, just really getting an understanding of the different, like in this case, the niche of low equity, and understanding, what we're offering to our end buyer, but also finding a way to help agents move the properties and making sure that their sellers are taken care of. Ultimately, I think the industry has a bad rap in regards to like wholesalers, and so we want to provide a solution. Yeah, I'm here to learn, to grow, and offer any assistance I can as well. So yeah, but I'm out in the Bay Area, so American Canyon to be exact. So yeah, would love to connect with others and go from there. See how we can help each other grow.
Well, thanks for coming back. I appreciate it as always. And I think you're right. I think that wholesalers sometimes get a bad rap. It's like when you talk to an agent and they're like, "Are you a wholesaler?"
Yeah.
And immediately their tone changes, right? They don't want to talk to you anymore. But what's really interesting is that I think that there's a place for wholesalers in the market when it's done ethically, legally, transparently,
Yes.
right? If we're telling them exactly what it is that we're doing and how we're helping them. There are times, Julio, and you probably know this as an agent, there are times when the agent doesn't always have the connections to sell a property. Sometimes it has to come from somebody else, right? Sometimes that's a buyer's agent. In our case, it might be a wholesaler. So what's the difference if a buyer's agent makes 3% on a transaction versus a wholesaler making about the same amount or possibly even less? What's the difference, right? So anyway, thanks so much for the introductions, guys. Appreciate that as always. I've given you guys both data. George, why don't you start, because you're at the top of my screen, why don't you start at the top of the list and call down? Julio, you start at the bottom of the list and call up.
Sounds good.
One thing you guys will notice is that the last three columns are really important. So the last three columns are equity as a percentage, equity as a dollar amount, and then cash to seller with the traditional sale. And so what's done with that last column, just so you guys know, is 8% is taken out of the total asking price and deducted from the net proceeds, or from the gross proceeds down to the net proceeds. So that last column is exactly what they would walk away with if they were to pay 8% in total costs to close that transaction.
Got it.
So I like to use that as a reference point sometimes. Sometimes I'll bring that up, say, hey, agent, it looks like you have, about the seller has this amount left at closing. Is that about right? Do I have my numbers correct? It's just a talking point for me.
Yes, absolutely.
And just curious, Mike, based on that information, and obviously getting to that point where, so what does this property look at full price minus 8%, minus what they currently owe? Is it around, and then saying that number, like, where does this guy get this number from?
Yep.
And then it's saying, what if I can do that for you? But more than likely, I may not be able to pay it all up front. Would your seller be open to getting a down payment towards that and monthly payments towards the remaining equity?
Yep. That's a great line for a hybrid deal, right? Yes. And so typically, if we're working low equity, typically the way that I like to think about low equity is like 10 or 12% or less equity.
Okay.
Once you get past 12 and you get up into the 15% range, you struggle to give the seller enough cash at close that's going to be the equivalent of what they would get with a traditional sale, right? Just because of our entry fee percentages, how we calculate all that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anything above what we would typically give as cash to seller, that's a great line for a hybrid deal. I love that.
Got it. Okay. Because I do see the percentage, and I kind of based out what you just said, the 12%. So everything above 12 is like, wow, that's a pretty good chunk. But then once you diminish that, like, oh crap, yeah, it's barely enough to spread.
Yep. And George, remember too that these are brand new listings. So this isn't on the market for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. So what we're basically doing here, the advantage of this data, I think personally, is that it gives us the opportunity to build a relationship before everyone else gets to the data.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean? So if you think about this as a 30-day process from the time that you get the data to the time that you actually close the transaction or at least sign a contract, you have time to see what happens in the market. Are they getting the activity that they're looking for? Are they getting the offers that they're looking for? If they're not after 30 days, then they're probably going to have to start to lower the price, right? So what we're basically doing is getting way ahead of that and saying, look, this is probably not a great option for you at this point today in the listing, but let me explain to you how it could be a good option for you down the line.
Got it. And planting that seed.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe I'll put in the cart before the horse, Mike. In that instance, when okay, that's a good idea, I'll follow up with you. When would be a good time frame to follow up with that potential agent that you had that great conversation with?
So typically what I want to do in this, I look at this 10-day window, and it's an arbitrary number, but I'm just trying to think of when are the data aggregators going to get this data, and how many conversations can I have between now and then? So this is my window to really build that relationship. So I'm going to want to have a conversation now, plant the seed. I'll even send them an offer just so they can see what it would look like. And then I'll follow up with them on that offer and say, hey, do you have any questions? What can I help you with? Is this your first transaction like this? What questions do you have? And then what I'll also do sometimes, this is a good little tip here, is for me, George, one of the frustrations has always been controlling the conversation with an agent.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's not even it's the conversation that they have with their seller. So how can I control that unless I'm having that conversation directly? So what I'll do is I'll create a video. I've used BombBomb before. I've used Vidyard before, and I've created a video and I've walked through the process.
Okay.
This is our offer. This is why it looks this way, and explain to them exactly what it is that we're trying to accomplish, so that they can either watch it themselves and or share that with their client.
Gotcha. Okay,
so that helps out a lot.
And do you do that for every individual one that you believe that, just to have something for them to not only look at, but also visualize as well?
Yep. And, part of the reason that I do that too is I've built out a website for our company that is it's credibility, right? So what I want to do is direct them to that page on my site to watch that video. And then while they're there, my guess as a user is that they're going to click around, right? Oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? And so if I can layer that credibility any way that I possibly can, I'm going to. And that's one of the ways that I do it.
Okay.
All right. Let's get Colin here. Let's see what the ratio of pickups is today. I'm curious.
Okay. Cool. So just dial away and mute ourselves while dialing away, or?
Yeah. Why don't you mute the app?
Okay.
And if you get on a phone call, come back in. We'll spotlight you and let's hear the conversation.
Okay. Sounds fair.
That's good.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
Okay. So while those guys are doing that, I'm going to be quiet because I don't want to interrupt their calling. If you guys want a nice little coupon code for this data, RocketBot Leads, there's a 20% off your first month coupon code down below. You can just use dialed in 20. That'll give you 20% off of your first month. That's our affiliate code. The advantage, of course, with that data, like we talked about, is you get it day one. You get it way ahead of everyone else. You can build that relationship. Personally, I find that super important, and some people don't. My style is that I want to build a relationship so I can do lots of deals with people over the course of time and not just get one deal closed with one agent. So I will make multiple phone calls, as I just told George. I'll send text messages. I'll send emails. I'll send videos. I'll send backup documentation that really provides lots of credibility directly to the agent for exactly what it is that I do. So that's how I like to utilize this data. Hopefully you guys can.
Good. My name is Julio Llamas. I'm an investor, and I'm calling on your property, 18793 West Farmer Road in Buckeye, Arizona.
Yes, sir.
And I just wanted to, so I see that the property is recently listed. Just kind of wanted to get some information on the property, see what you could tell me about as far as if there's any condition issues that I should be aware of.
Well, basically the condition is that it needs coat paint. It's basically a new build.
Okay.
But he had multiple, but everything else is in pretty good shape. There's one window that is a double pane patio window that one of the panes broke on the sliding glass door.
Okay, so one of the panes is broke?
Right, one of the panes is broke on that. But other than that, it literally just needs a coat of paint throughout, and it's good to go.
Okay, and I'm just curious. Okay, and I'm just curious, what's the? Can you tell me about the property? What's the motivation to sell? What's the story behind that property? Why are they selling?
It's a short sale situation, so any prices, it's going to have to be approved by the bank.
Okay.
So any offers will be needed to go to the bank.
Okay. So they need to go to the bank. Okay. And so the purpose of my call, to be upfront, is, because I'm an investor, my actual offer may not work out because I would be making possibly a lower offer as far as cash. But I also look for creative opportunities. So it's a possibility that may not work. However, do you have any other properties that would be investor friendly, kind of like a fix and flip or a pocket listing?
Which I did for you, but I actually don't not at this time.
Okay. So would you be okay if I followed up with you on this property in the future? Because again, I know, possibility that it may not work at this time, especially with the house being listed just a few days ago. So, if it's okay with you, I'd love to check in and see how I might be able to help. Because we have purchased properties that have been, that have gone into short sale. And we were able to help the customers move along with a little bit of money in their pocket. Avoiding them add more, at the end, because, there's always a closing costs, there's always agent fees, and, we like to come in and try to relieve some of that pressure on them.
Well, just so you know, there would be no opportunity for any kind of wraparound loan or anything that's,
Okay.
So if that's what you were, you're thinking about, that opportunity is just zero.
Okay.
But if you want to make a buyout, obviously, yeah, subject to reasonable offers.
Okay.
And any reasonable offer again would have to basically the bank is the one that they'll do a broker price opinion. The bank will hire and do a BPO, and then basically it's a bank who will accept it.
Okay.
We don't really even have that opportunity.
Okay.
Like in a short sale.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, you know what, Gail, like I said, eventually I would like to work with you in the future. So again, I'll follow up with a text, give you my information, and see how we can work together in the future.
Okay, sounds great.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Right. You too, sir. Bye-bye.
George, you free? Okay.
All right.
Yes. I was hearing this call. It's so good.
Perfect. Yeah. So give us your feedback on Julio's phone call.
I would say good tonality. He let the agent speak and kind of explain a little bit about the conditions where sometimes other agents may be from withholding that information, but letting Julio know that the lead is a short sale, which it sounds like if she is because I guess there's certain agents that don't mess with short sales at all, and there's some that do, because I think it comes down to the negotiation to where they are trying to get it down to around the 80% appraised value. And if it is upside down, then obviously it wouldn't work for us unless we were potentially a buy and hold investor at that time. But like I said, she was informative, and that may be somebody Julio can use down the line. Not sure what this property was at, but if there is another short sale opportunity, is maybe leveraging her down the line and possibly giving her an opportunity to make some money on the back end, and hopefully getting that in return in another way and creating that relationship with you two guys.
Yeah.
Was that the one on Tribal Drive?
That was West Farmer Road, the very bottom one.
Oh, interesting. I'm looking at a different one. What's the negative net to seller? What's the far right column amount?
24,081.
Yeah. Okay. What's funny is on my side, it looks like, and again, I'm looking at a different property, but it looks like it's $5,000 upside down, and it's a 3.9% rate. So I was wondering why they went short sale as opposed to go sub 2. But
good question.
Yeah. Now that yours makes, now that I know that I'm looking at the wrong one, yours makes a whole lot more sense. So some of these on here, especially the ones with bigger negative equity values, are short sales. So if you see something like that, that's always the first question I ask. Hey, is this a short sale? Has it been approved by the bank?
Yeah.
First two questions. If it has been approved by the bank, cool. Do you have anything else we can work on? This one's not going to work for me. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Let's build the relationship, which you did a great job of, by the way. And I didn't hear it at the top of the call, but did you introduce yourself as an agent in
No,
California?
I did not. I actually introduced myself as an investor.
Yeah, I heard that part. Try introducing yourself as say, hey, what was her name again?
Gail.
Gail. Hey, Gail, this is Julio calling. I'm an agent out here in California, but I'm looking to buy my own home out here and wherever the house is. Because what happens is that anytime an agent hears that they're talking to an investor, it's like one of those key words, right? It's like, oh shoot, how do I get off the phone call with this guy?
Okay.
Right? This guy's going to lowball me, as opposed to an agent. You know, if I call and I say I'm an agent, it is very, very different. It's same level kind of conversation, right? Okay, we talk the same language, we speak the same words, we do things in a similar way. So try leading with that and see what the reception is. We'll just play with it a little bit.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah,
cool.
Let's find out. Awesome.
Yeah, good job.
Cool. Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. Hey, my name's Julio. I'm an agent, and I'm calling on your property, 18046 in North Stonegate Road in Maricopa.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm actually looking, to acquire property for myself. Just wanted to see if you can give me some details on the property, as far as like, first of all, why are they selling the property, and if you can give me some information on the condition of the house.
Actually, it is under contract, sale pending.
Okay, so it's on the contract. Yeah. Okay. Oh, all right. So this is not an option, but okay. Well, do you have any other properties that I might be able to look at?
The listing I have is all under contract, so I have nothing available right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working to get more listings.
Okay. So do you ever come across like investor-friendly properties? Like anything that's kind of like a fix and flip, or anything like that? That needs some TLC.
Actually, we already have a couple of investors or flippers, so I don't think I want to expand that. Okay, fair enough. Well, yeah. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate your time today. So thank you so much, and have a good day. You too. Thank you. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Good job. Let's see if we can hear George here.
Looks like he's on mute.
Yeah, why can't I expand George? Here we go. Julio, great call. Really good call. One thing I think you should try, and I learned this from Kevin's show, is when you're having a conversation about a property, here's.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just listening on your words.
Oh, okay.
Mike.
I thought you were on a call.
No.
Okay, so one thing I learned from Kevin's show, I've learned many things from Kevin, but one thing I learned from Kevin's show is as you're starting to talk about the property, instead of just diving right in saying, hey, why are the sellers selling or something like that, what you're trying to get to is their motivation, right? And their motivation is, it's the one thing with direct agent that you don't know off the top, right? Price, condition for the most part. And of course, timeline. They wouldn't have the property on the market if they didn't want to sell it right away. So the one thing missing of the 4 pillars is motivation. What I like to do sometimes is ask about the property. Hey, it looks like a beautiful property. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Is it an HOA? What's it currently used for? Is it a homestead? Is it a rental? The pictures look great. What kind of condition is it in? And then I would say something like, this sounds like a really beautiful property. And I know that you guys just came on the market. Is there something wrong with it? Right? You kind of ask like, am I missing something? What am I missing? You can ask it a bunch of different ways. But the reason that you ask that question is if I ask, let's say, Julio, I ask you that question. Hey, Julio, this looks like a beautiful property. What am I missing? And this, by the way, this works with properties that are on the market longer too, like 30 or 60 days or whatever. But if you can say, if you lead the conversation by saying, what's the activity? And then you lead into, I can't believe this property hasn't sold yet. Is there something wrong or what am I missing? And then if I ask you that question as the agent, what's going to be your response?
Yeah. Obviously you have to start. Yeah. You have to start, I'll be answering with those layers, peeling them out. I think just myself, I just start divulging more information.
Sure. Right. You get into kind of a defensive position, right? As an agent, you go, no, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. The sellers are just moving to Oklahoma or whatever it is, right? Okay. You actually get the motivation without asking what's the seller's motivation. And that's a nice little trick that you can try next time.
Nice. Thank you so much. That is golden right there.
Try that and see how it works.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Of course.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How can I help you?
Yeah, Zach, I was calling you in regards to a property you have listed here at 5332 Granbury Street in Denver, Colorado. Yes, I was calling you in regards to seeing if potentially we can pick this up as a rental, since we are looking for a couple rentals to pick up this month, and just wanted to see if by chance if we had any offers coming in at this time.
I don't have any offers yet. We just went active today. Are you a real estate agent or a buyer?
Actually, I work with a couple buyers that we're looking to buy in that area. Zach? Yes. Just seeing, obviously, there's a list of properties we were looking for, Zach, and this one happened to be one of them. And not sure if, obviously, it's just on the market, so you guys are looking for a traditional offer at this moment?
It doesn't matter what kind of offer, as long as it closes.
That makes sense.
you able to set showings, or do you need me to show you the property?
No, I was just seeing if by chance you guys, obviously it's just straight, it's recently on the market. We were seeing if we could come in possibly on a creative option, if you're open to that at this time.
Well, if you mean like owner financing or something like that, that's not going to work. It needs to be paid off at closing.
Okay, got it. Okay, they just got it. Okay, because I did see the reason why we picked this property, Zach, was because of that certain reason. It has we were seeing that it may have a little bit of equity, so more than likely you guys would have to sell it at a certain price just to clear the books per se.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he needs the listing price and it needs to be paid off at closing, so he's not going to carry financing or anything like that.
Okay, that sounds fair, Mr. Zach. Well, if they change their mind, I would love to see if this one doesn't work out, Mr. Zach. I would love to work with you down the line on another potential property that may fit that criteria. Do you do any creative financing yourself?
No, I don't really get into that.
Oh, okay. Well, Zach, sounds like this one may not work out, but I would love to see if we can work on something down the line this year.
Sure. Yeah, feel free to call me anytime.
All right, Zach. Well, you have a great day, and I thank you for taking my call.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Kind of a stinker, right?
Yeah. I'm Zach.
Yeah, he's a stick in the mud. I think what I loved about that introduction, by the way, and I wrote it down here. I've never tried this before, but when he asked you, "Are you an agent or a buyer or something like that?" You said, "Yeah, we work with a bunch of buyers looking for a property in that area." Right? You didn't even say you were an agent. You said that you work with buyers who are looking for a property in that area. It's freaking brilliant. That's a brilliant response, because what you're doing on the front of it is saying, I am not going to be the buyer, right?
Right.
But you're also not saying that you're not an agent. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I think that there's going to be an assumption from them that you are an agent, and so you're going to have to probably get over that at some point, I would think. But off the start of it, I think it's fantastic to have that conversation and say, I work with buyers who are looking for a property in that market. Right. Full transparency right off the bat. 95% transparency.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's something I battle with my starting this is like, am I lying to them? Am I not? But when you're selling, you don't have to divulge everything, but learn how to hold some things back. Some things back, and like Pace teaches, don't go in there with a machine gun, giving everything, just piece by piece, enjoying the conversation. And I did pick up that energy, like, oh yeah, like damn, Zach, sound like you're having a bad day, bro. Lighten up. But
try that, George. Try that. I think with your personality, I think that you can get away with that.
Yeah,
and that's what I emphasize on every single one of these calls is that there are three of us here. We're all going to handle our phone calls three different ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. It's not going to be the same thing. You can't go down a script and have the same result because our personalities, the way that we deliver things are all different.
Very true.
So lean into that and be like, you are such an optimistic person, George. I would lead with that energy. And if you're not getting that energy back, be like, hey, I'm sorry, I caught you at a bad time what can I do to make your day better? Just call it out.
True. I think Clayton says that when in doubt, ask it out. I think one of the guys in the Daily Dials.
Yep.
Just stating the obvious. It sounds like, man, Julio, you all right, man?
Yeah.
What team do you go for? Did your team lose? Because I see this properties in Denver with Zach. It's like, well, the Broncos didn't make it too far. Neither did my Texans, but still, let's try to get over it. And well, how can I make you smile? Or like you're saying, like create that yellow, find that yellow in that person.
Lean into your personality. That's your great benefit. That's your value add. That's your advantage right there. That's not mine, and it may not be Julio's, but we have our own ways of doing it.
Right.
And one thing I was thinking about too on that call is when he said something to the effect of, that call was really interesting, by the way, because he first goes, "We'll take any offer as long as it closes, except for something creative." Right?
Yeah.
And so the reasons that he gave why they can't do anything creative were really interesting to me. He said, well, they need to just get rid of this mortgage, right? They need to get rid of the mortgage. I would have said why. And what happens with that question is it's a pattern interrupt, right? If you think that you are the real estate expert in that situation and you say, well, they have to sell it. They have to get rid of the mortgage. What do you think, George, they're thinking? Why do you think they have to get rid of that mortgage? Why are they thinking that?
Right. Then that's a curious. I wouldn't know until I ask. Why?
My assumption is that they feel like they have to sell this mortgage so that they can get another mortgage.
Which is not true, which is a possibility we can overcome.
Exactly right.
If you allow it.
Exactly right. So the pattern interrupt there is, well, hold on a second, Zach. Why can't they do that? They're going to go, well, because they have to sell to get their next mortgage. Well, why?
Yeah. The intro, like that little kid that sometimes we forget. Why?
Yep, that's exactly right. And what's going to happen with that second why is they're going to go, well, they're not going to be able to qualify. And then that's when you can go into a really cool third-party story, right? You've done 22 of these types of transactions.
Right.
I guarantee there's one in there, if not 22,
right,
where the sellers are going to buy another house, but they still were able to sell their house to us sub 2.
True.
Right? So that's when you kind of lean into it and you go, I understand that the common misconception here is that you have to get rid of the mortgage before you get another mortgage. Let me tell you a quick story about this house down the street that we just bought. Seller was in the same situation. They thought the same thing, but working with us and working with our mortgage, our loan officer, our mortgage broker, whatever that is, we were able to show them how this could work. And again, it looks like this is a really tight equity position. You know, we can probably give the seller as much, if not possibly more than what they're currently expecting at close. Is that something that your seller would consider if we can show them how that could work for them?
Nice. I like what you said there, and that kind of it got my gears grinding to where I can put that in a summary in a text message of just saying, "Hey, Zach, if anything changes, we do have ways of overcoming that." But yeah, man, that sounds good. I do catch what you just said, and that's when I kind of like shook. What I look at, oh, shit, low equity. This is this, but then not taking it all away, or I guess you would say like in football, fumbling at the 1 yard line, and you're about to go in, like, oh, I could have went in. But yeah, it's just also knowing that in the next call now I can build on that.
You know how in college football the new overtime rules are everyone kind of gets a turn, right? And then you score until someone scores more, basically.
Oh.
And so you can kind of use the equivalent of that, right? It's like, how many questions can I ask you?
Right.
Until you push back.
Got it.
And so providing those little, like, it's almost like needling them a little bit. Well, why can't that happen? Why can't?
Yeah.
Right. And, it's even more than curiosity. It's a lack of knowledge about broader ideas in real estate than what they're used to.
Right.
That's all that it is.
The vision.
It's tunnel vision. It's lack of experience. You kind of ask this question at the end. Hey, have you ever done a transaction like this before? No, I stay away from those types of deals. Why?
Right.
Should
try sometime.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So anyway, great call. I love that introduction. I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Poke a little bit more. See where it takes you.
Got it.
George, have you called line 26, Carmela?
No, not yet. I was just going by the beginning of it, but I seen the one in Colleen. I actually have one. I have one right now. Basically, little to no equity, and that's the one where I had a trouble. Well, the seller was open. I mean, the agent was a fellow. We were both in the army, so that was kind of some rapport, and just seeing how we can help him out. And she does know that the property can't sell on the market, so seeing if sub two makes sense. So just like say, kind of like with Zach, just being open with them and saying, you know, I'm here in Houston, but I need to work with my buyers out there to kind of help you find a potential buyer. But I don't know how much I can give you at this moment. I would love to give you that full 3%, but depending on what it looks like, then we can do it.
I'm doing good. Listen, my name is Julio Llamas. I'm an agent, and I'm calling on your property that is listed at 8805 Simmons Avenue.
Yes, it's currently under contract.
Oh, it's under contract. Okay. All right. Well, since that one is off the market, do you have any other properties that I might be able to look at? 'Cause I also, so I'm an agent out in California, but I work with buyers outside of in the area, and just wanted to see if if you have anything like any possible fix and flips.
I don't.
You don't have anything. Okay. All right. So then, just another question before I let you go: how can we work together in the future? Is there, to come up with any properties? Is there anything I could do to move any properties that you might have that are on the market a little too long? No.
I don't really do fix and flips. So.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again for taking my phone call, and we'll chat later.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. You too, brother.
Julio, ballsy question. I freaking love it. Very few people would ask that follow-up question. How can we work together? I freaking love that question.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yep. You're not going to get unless you ask, right?
Yeah, like you said earlier, push to investigate, right?
Push. Yeah, that's exactly right. In fact, what I was thinking right before you asked that question was, hey, ask about a referral for other agents. If you're sticking with the fix and flip, for example, hey, do you have anyone in your office who focuses on fix and flips or comes across them more often than others? Can you connect me with them? Something along those lines. I think that if you're pigeonholing yourself into fix and flips, that's a great follow-up question. If you're looking for creative deals, then you can go into a pitch of, one thing that we specialize in are properties that are on the market longer than the sellers and the agents expect. And typically what we're doing is we're coming in, we're buying these properties 60, 90, 120 days that are on market. And we're making sure that instead of the seller paying commission, we're paying commission. Usually these are tighter equity positions. So we make sure that the sellers get the cash that they're expecting or possibly more. And we're also paying all of the closing costs. So we're doing all of those things to protect the seller's equity. Have you ever come across a situation like that before where, something like that might be able to help your sellers? That's kind of like the creative route that you could go on that.
And you kind of see, you're kind of like, you're just planting the seeds.
That's right. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Good job.
Awesome. Thank you.
I like his energy too. Yeah, a little more. Come on, man. Let's strike a deal together.
I'm trying to keep up with you, man.
That's all good. I'll give my credit to the coffee and a little bit of my own energy.
It's contagious.
Amen.
It's good.
Amen. Right. Amen.
Hello, this is John.
Hey, John. Good morning. This is Julio. Sorry, I couldn't answer when you called. I was actually on another call. Hey, so I'm an agent, and I'm calling on your property that's on 1108 Overton Place. I'm sorry. You know what? Wrong one. 1404 White Dutch Lane in Antioch. Yeah. So I'm just calling because I want to see, since I work with several buyers in the area, just wanted to see what you can tell me about the property. And
do you have an active buyer?
So because Not in the area as far as like right now today, but I do want to get some information because again, I work with a lot of buyers, but I'm also looking in the area as well. So I just wanted to get a little bit more details because in regards to like
Nice townhome, right across from the pool. So I mean, you're literally like, you walk straight out the door, walk straight across the street, you're at the pool. Got a carport out back. It's two carport. Have storage. They want design, shed, attached to it. Sellers will be motivated to get married, so they're going to upsize and buy a little bigger house together. So they decided to get it on the market. It needs some paintwork inside. We really acknowledge that. He's willing to either do some credit for the paintwork or go ahead and just have it done prior to whoever's going to buy it to move in. And he is willing to work with that.
Okay. Oh, awesome! So the seller's getting married, wants to upgrade, huh?
Yep.
Very cool. Okay. And then in regards to so the way that we buy properties is obviously we come in because I can either do a cash offer, which would be lower, but I also look on the creative side. Is that something that you've worked with before, and something that would possibly be of interest?
I'll tell you right now, man, you're wasting my time, and I don't appreciate you calling me 3 times after that.
Okay. So, just got hung up on. I call them. I always follow up with a method of calling the agent twice. I double dial if they don't answer. So, obviously, I bugged him about it.
Why did he hang up on you?
Because he said I was wasting his time.
Once he said creative, it's like you poke his bunghole. Like, no, get away.
Yeah.
Once I said, I just asked him if he's ever done anything creative. He said, "Well, you're wasting my time. You called me 3 times." So yeah. So he didn't answer the first 2 times that I called. And then because that's kind of what I always do. I always double dial, and then if I don't get an answer, then I'll follow up with a text. I usually don't leave a voicemail.
Look, he's in sales. He should understand that sometimes you're going to call people a couple times. Secondly, he's in sales, and his job is to sell things. And so why would you not spend some time? This is what I never understand about agents, is there's very rarely a focus on building a relationship with the potential client. And every single one of us here is going to buy multiple properties this year.
Right.
Every single one of us.
Right.
Why wouldn't an agent want to connect with someone like us?
Mm-hmm.
And, here's the thing too, is that agents generally don't understand our process. Mm-hmm. And the reaction that you just got is one where he is afraid to understand it, or he's afraid to act like he doesn't understand it. Yeah. George, great point. It's like, la, la, la. Like,
don't hear.
Yeah, I can't hear you. That's the thing. Was that a California deal, Julio?
No, he's in Antioch, Tennessee.
Okay, cool. I was curious how you were handling that. You have buyers in the area thing. But I think that's great because that's what George does, right?
Yeah.
It was George's
that's why I stole the line from him.
Yeah.
But
no.
But I was gonna ask you, Mike, on that how and Julio did a great job on that. It is and I think RJ Bates kind of touched base on this, how like obviously with what you're offering, these lists are pretty prestige, but it is going through those scenarios where they do mess with your emotion. And somebody like myself, I try to like, come on, Mr. Agent, be happy, be like, and then it does take a toll on you, especially after a couple calls. But I do know, I guess my question is, what would be your advice for maybe people watching us and how to get over the next one? Because obviously right now it works out because we want to make as many calls and talk about it and get us to the next level. But somebody newer kind of gets, oh man, I don't make no more calls, or just jump on the next one. And I guess what would be your answer to that?
So we held a meetup last week in New Braunfels with Vina Jetty as the guest speaker.
Okay.
Vina, for those who don't know, Vina, she's unbelievably fantastic. She syndicates large multifamily real estate deals. I think she's a co-owner or an owner of more than $1 billion in multifamily right now.
Nice.
She's a go-getter. I mean, this girl is on freaking fire. And someone asked a very similar question, George, at the meetup. And her response was, The only thing that separates people who are successful from people who aren't successful is grit. It's the idea that you have to get back on that phone call.
Right.
You have to call again. It's so easy for every single one of us. All three of us have done this at one point. I guarantee it. Someone swears us off the phone or they hang up on us. You're like, why the hell am I doing this? I'm going to go take a break.
Right.
Right. And how often does that break lead to you actually making phone calls later in the day?
Sometimes very hard too. You'd rather do something else.
Yeah. Everything comes up. Every reason is an excuse.
Yep. I think that you have to remember that the agents that you're talking to, some are successful agents, some are not successfully career-minded agents, right? And so I think a lot of people are intimidated by agents. Like, that guy, you're wasting my time, go screw off, right? He's trying to come off as the dominant person in that relationship.
True.
Right? He's trying to control the conversation, the relationship. Screw that. Take that back, right? Yeah. Julio, you're the one who knows more about creative than that guy.
Right.
For him to say, if this is about owner finance, you're wasting my time, it tells me that he just doesn't understand the process or the benefits to his clients or even himself. Right. That's all that tells me. So you have to, after that phone call, you have to say something to yourself like, that guy has no clue what he's talking about. He does not have the knowledge that I have. Yeah. Let me get back on the phone and find an agent. Think of this as a needle in a haystack.
Yes.
You're trying to find the agent. Your goal every single day is to find the agent that is like the unicorn agent of unicorn agents. Right. Like the queen unicorn, right? That's your goal every single day. And you're going to talk to a lot of great agents who are very open to this kind of thing. You're going to talk to some who aren't. And even the ones that are really open to it aren't the unicorn of unicorns. They're not the queen unicorn.
Right.
Right. So think of your daily task as, I need to go find that person from this list.
Right.
And if they're not there today, they're there tomorrow.
True.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way that you can do it, because this is hard, right, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. It's a numbers game, and
yeah.
I think to that same thing, you just got to remember your why.
Mm-hmm.
And along the why, I mean, it's like going up a mountain. You're gonna hit areas where it's gonna get harder. You're probably gonna stumble back, but you have to get back on.
Yep. Every day.
Yeah.
Every hour of every day.
Yeah.
Right. And the people who do successful things, who are successful in this business, are the ones who continue to make the phone calls. That's it. That's it.
True.
Let's try to get on one more phone call here, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. Okay.
Sounds good.
Right.
I'm sorry I missed the call. Please leave me a message or send me a text, and I'll get back with you shortly. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
I'm well. How are you?
Hey, Carmelo. My name is George. I was reaching out to you in regards to one of your listings here at 4211 Mustang Drive in Killeen, Texas. Yes, we're a couple buyers here in the Texas area, mainly Houston, but I do have a couple buyers in the Killeen area, and just calling you in regards to this property you have, just seeing if you'd be interested in hearing our offers, since we are picking properties in that area for potential rentals, and we're actually in the process of picking one up in that exact area. So whenever you're free, please feel free to reach back to me as soon as you can. And in the meantime, you have a great day.
The number
number you have reached is not in service. UM1. Le numéro que vous avez composé n'est pas actif.
What was it?
Hi, this is Julia with the Real Estate Home Team. If you could, please leave me a detailed message, and also feel free to send me a text. Hi, this is Julia with the Real Estate Home Team. If you could, please leave me a detailed message, and also feel free to send me a text, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks. Have a great day.
Hey, Julia, this is George Paredes. I was calling in regards to one of your listings here at 9614 Kensley Rose Drive in Killeen, Texas. Just wanted to see by chance we could put an offer on this property in regards to potentially picking it up as a rental, since we are currently working on one in the Killeen area. Not sure how close this property is to the one we're working with as of now. But yeah, please feel free to reach back to me as soon as you can. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Hey guys. Sorry I missed that call. George, when you hopped on that call, I hopped on a call too at the same time, and I didn't want to interrupt your call, so I stepped out for a second.
Oh man, I thought I had on mute the whole time. I didn't get on any calls. I just left voicemails, and I kind of reached out to those two that you told me in Killeen. And so I guess I don't know what they, obviously listened to the voicemail, but it is sharing that third party story I have in Killeen and kind of using that as a I guess a credibility page to where we are buying in that area. Mm-hmm. And in real life, I actually have a couple of buyers that's just reaching out to my partner that does have a 9-to-5. And I think one of them are calling me back right now. I think. Hello?
Hello, this is Frank. Just missed a call.
Oh, hey, Frank. This is George. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. I'm fine. Thanks for asking, man. Were you able to weather through the storm these last couple of days?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine, man. Thank you.
No problem. Well, I was really calling in regards to I think you have a listing here on Gentry Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and a couple buyers are buying a couple properties and trying to see if we can potentially buy this as a rental. So I was just seeing how everything's going so far with the listing and seeing if our offer would make sense for you guys to move forward and, like I said, pick this up as a rental.
Yeah, I mean, we relisted it once we had it staged, and so far no activity, but that happened during the storm, so it's kind of we have an open house schedule, so we're hoping to get some good interest, but no offers yet. Is your offer like a traditional just buy it, or is this some kind of like a loan assumption type thing, creative offer you're talking about?
Yes, unfortunately, it wouldn't be a traditional one, Frank, being that, normally our cash offers are for potential fix and flips. And it sounds like this one doesn't really match that, to where there's no really money that we could put into it, since it sounds like your clients did a great job on fixing it.
Yeah, no, it's turnkey, man. It's only a few years old, so it was taken care of really well, and you wouldn't have to put any money into it to turn it into a rental.
Gotcha, Frank. And just curious, these your clients don't happen to be investors themselves, would they? No. She
just wants it off her hands, to be honest, man. So she doesn't want to be connected to it, like moving forward.
Gotcha. So no sub-twos to where we can potentially take it over and come in, pay your commissions, and cover the closing costs, and seeing what we can possibly put in her pocket?
No, she wouldn't entertain that. We've had several of those types of offers, and she's made it pretty clear that's not what she's looking for. She just wants to sell it outright, and